Happy Friday, we're high school. I'm Olivia Baker.
And I'm Kayla Velagal.
Here are your announcements for February 10th, brought to you by We're Student Media.
Happy National Umbrella Day.
For lunch, we are having cheese pizza, fresh tossed salad, cheesy mixed vegetables, homemade pasta salad, frozen fruit cup, fresh fruit, and milk.
Today's forecast calls for a low of 30 degrees and a high of 44 degrees with cloudy skies.
Happy birthday to everyone celebrating this weekend. No one is celebrating today. Tomorrow, Dominic Verez, and Sunday, Caitlin Marlin and Alex Gaio.
In other news, to finish our series on Weir's program of studies, we introduce the math department.
I teach Algebra 2 and Calc 2. Algebra 2 focuses mostly on quadratics, solving them, figuring out how to graph them, finding solutions, basically a lot with quadratics, and then it moves on to look at polynomials and solving rational functions, and then ends with logarithmic functions and exponential functions. And then Calc 2 is all about taking integrals, which is basically the opposite of what we did in Calc 1 last semester, which was we took derivatives. So next year we are adding Algebra 3, which will be offered for college credit through Northern as college algebra. So anyone who is looking to get their college math out of the way, college algebra would be a good option for you. You do have to pay through Northern to take it. It will be $125 for the class plus a $25 application fee. The requirements or the prerequisites, you would have to pass Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, and then you have to take a placement test and pass that at Northern. I'm not sure what the cut score is at that point. Northern would have that information when you contact them to sign up. Basically, that class will be very similar topic-wise to Algebra 2, but it'll take a lot of those topics and go more in depth, and then it will finish the semester with a trig unit and look at graphing trig functions, and similar to some things you would do in trig and pre-calc, not quite as in-depth as trig and pre-calc, but it would be good to get your feet wet for anyone who's considering taking trig and pre-calc in the future.
So I teach Algebra 1, and that obviously focuses on solving equations, linear equations, graphing, and then I also teach financial algebra, which focuses on more like real life math, like credit cards, interest rates, housing, like what's better, like buying a house or renting, like stuff like that.
Next semester I will be teaching Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Algebra 1 focuses more on an introduction to linear equations, solving linear equations, graphing linear equations. Algebra 2 is going to take that a step further. After taking geometry, you'll go more into factoring and solving quadratic equations.
Okay, so my standards are trig and pre-calc and AP statistics. I teach those every year. So those are more geared towards college-bound students looking to go calculus routes or go into some kind of STEM after they graduate. I also teach random, whatever is needed. So I teach Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, wherever we need some extra sections. Some of those are required for graduation. Well, all of those are required actually for graduation. The other two are just electives.
In Algebra 2, we try to do a project in each chapter. Right now, we're in our first chapter called Transformations, and we're working on our parent function project where students get to create their own transform functions and describe them, write their equations, and put it on a PowerPoint. We do a complex number puzzle in a later chapter, and then we do one about a birthday polynomial where you use your birthday to create a function, graph it, and then look at a bunch of different characteristics that it creates.
For algebra, so this is my first year teaching, so and this is my first semester teaching algebra, so I haven't really done much like special projects wise, but like for financial algebra, like we'll kind of focus on like whatever we're going on, going like through that week, or that chapter, I guess. So like for credit cards, like I'll have them like look for like certain credit cards and like their interest rates, and or like housing, we like on Zillow, and we looked to see like in that area like what their monthly payment would be and stuff like that. Kind of like just gears towards like what we're going over that week or chapter.
In Algebra 1, I have one big project where you're taking all of the ideas for graphing linear equations in 3 different formats and making a picture of, this year it's going to be, I believe, animals. Last year it was a selfie. I don't know for Algebra 2 yet, being I have not taught Algebra 2 yet, so I don't have any insight on that.
So in each class, I try to do some kind of project throughout the semester. Obviously, it depends on how many snow days we have and things like that. But my trig and pre-calc class, we always try to do like a famous mathematician. The students pick a mathematician and they write a report on them. And they dress like their mathematician if they choose to. We also try to do a graphing project where they do a sine, cosine, tangent graph with items around the house and kind of make it fun. We try to, geometry, I have been able to do like a quilting project in the past or a tessellation project. Again, it all depends on the time and what we can actually get into, but.
Okay, so for Algebra 2, the prerequisites are Algebra 1 and geometry. For Calc 1, you would have to take Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, and then also need the trig and pre-calc. And then to take Calc 2, you have to take all those same things plus Calc 1. The Calc 1 and Calc 2 both are offered for college credit through Northern. You can pay, I believe it's $125 for the first and $100 for the second. And then they both have a $25 application fee that you only have to pay one time, though, depending on whether you're taking any other classes through Northern that semester or not.
So Algebra 1, you have to take Algebra 1. That's a must for if you want to go any further in high school. And then financial algebra, I think you have to take Algebra 1, geometry, and Algebra 2. And it's mostly geared towards like a senior class. So
there's no prerequisites for Algebra 1, being that it's the only 9th grade math class. And I believe the only prerequisite for Algebra 2 is geometry.
So, Algebra 1 you take as a freshman, so that's just a required class. So you need Algebra 1 to take geometry, you need Algebra 1 and geometry to take Algebra 2. For trig and pre-calc, you need Algebra 1, geometry, and Algebra 2. For AP Stats, you need same thing, Algebra 1, geometry, and Algebra 2.
Well, Algebra 2 is a requirement by the state. It does help set up students who are preparing to go into any kind of medical field, want to be a doctor, chiropractor, veterinarian, or any kind of engineering. It would then help you be prepared to take Calc, which you would take Calc if you want to go with any of those previously mentioned fields.
I try to make things like fun and interesting, change things up. I don't, like I said, I like to do like an activity rather than continue just to do like straight book work. So it just kind of like breaks up like the straight like workbook, boring, you know, like everyday thing.
Thank you.
They have to.
So I know most students don't see it, but math teaches you more than just the math that you learn in class. It teaches you how to become a better thinker, a better learner. So no matter what you choose to do after you graduate, whether it's go and work in, you know, a field that you enjoy, whether it's to go to college, whether it's to get some kind of associate's degree, whatever you choose to do, math will help you just become a better thinker in whatever aspect of life you choose to go into. So therefore, taking any math class will help you in your future endeavors.
Thank you to all the teachers who took the time to interview with us and allowed us to film their classes. If you missed any of our videos in this series or want to know more about the teachers and their available classes, scan the QR code on the next slide.
Scheduling starts this Monday, February 13th during first block. See the next slide for the schedule. Morning Career Center students will schedule on Friday, February 17th during fourth block in the cafeteria.
Speaking of scheduling, consider taking journalism when you choose your classes next week. Weir Student Media is the place for you if you
are creative, hardworking, and reliable, are interested in journalism, media, photography, videography, and public design, like food, coffee, t-shirts, field trips, or want to be in a real-world, hands-on work environment where there is an opportunity to serve in leadership roles.
Rising sophomores and juniors should enroll in Journalism 1. Rising seniors can enroll in Journalism 1 or see Ms. Bricker for permission to enroll in newspaper, yearbook, and video. Students must have at least a B average in English classes.
The Early Childhood CTE program is selling Valentine's Day candygrams today during all 3 lunches. Candygrams each come with a custom card and lollipop. The cost is $2 and the candygrams will be delivered on Valentine's Day during the second block. See Mrs. Jackson in room C320 for more information.
Today is the last day to help your Block 1 class win some prizes by submitting your applications for the WVU Upward Bound program. It includes a grant worth more than $1 million, and Weir needs at least 60 students to apply to get that funding.
The PSAT and SAT benchmark assessment will be administered to grades 9, 10, and 11 on Tuesday, February 21st during blocks 1, 2, and 4 in students' regularly scheduled classes.
Seniors, the deadline to apply for FAFSA and the Promise Scholarship is March 1st. You can apply for the Promise Scholarship and still be working on getting your test scores. You can add your scores later. See Mr. Wright for Ms. Charlton with questions.
Now for your sports info. The softball team is in need of new players. If you are interested in playing, contact a current player for more information.
Good luck to the sports teams competing this weekend.
Tomorrow, the boys basketball team has advanced to the OVAC Championship. They'll play at 2 p.m. at Harrison Central High School in Cadiz, Ohio. Tickets for students are $1 at the door. Weir Athletics hope to see a large student body group to cheer on the Red Riders.
Harrison Central has requested that fans do not bring signs in or banners for the game. Noisemakers are not permitted by the OVAC.
Also, the wrestling team travels to John Marshall for a quad meet against Oak Glen, Brooke, and John Marshall.
And Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs play the Philadelphia Eagles at 6:30 p.m. for the Super Bowl.
Finally, your fun fact of the day.
McDonald's once created bubblegum flavored broccoli. That's a wrap for this week. Have a wonderfully worthy weekend, Weir.
We did it.
We killed it.
We did it.